Hey Aries, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a part 2 for August. And I'm going to use the Morgan Grid Tarot deck, but I do have another tarot deck that I just got, and it's called the Urban Tarot. I'm not going to use that one because I want to do a whole unboxing for that one, but that's what the box looks like. Boxed. Anyway, in the center of your reading right here, you have the Ten of Cups, which is actually the card that you got for this week's weeklies, or last week, I guess I should say. This week, we'll see what you get. You have the Ten of Cups, which is talking about completion, the completion of a feeling, or the buildup of a feeling, right? That is bringing your awareness to something that you should act on, right? This is kind of like wanting to act on a feeling, wanting to let go of something, or wanting to let go or surrender some part of yourself to the greater good of something, or for the benefit of something. It's Mars in Pisces, so it's talking about, you know, how sensitive you could be to wanting to act on something that has actually grown in your emotional sense. It's talking about, you know, definitely multiplicity, the multiplication of something, and you know, it's related to the 10th house, so it's related to, you know, like your career. So the way that you feel about your career might be changing, or you might be starting to have an overwhelming sense that is about your career and about your relationships and your feelings, or the relationships within your career, that you would like to see change, or you would like to bring a different focus, right? You'd like to satisfy some other aspect of the self, right? You know, and this could be by, yeah, I'm just going to say that. At the bottom of the deck, you got the World card, which is talking about completion and something coming full circle. This is Capricorn, right? So Aries, this is like your 10th house, right, of career. Like I said, Saturn and Capricorn basically rule the 10th house. And, you know, you're just starting to change the feelings. Like, you might be feeling very emotionally sensitive to, you know, what your mind is bringing your awareness to, or what your feelings are bringing to your awareness. You know what I mean? It's kind of like at the forefront. And definitely with this World here, it's talking about, you know, an ending. It's a completion. It's like you have sort of graduated, or something has you know, satisfied its full-bodiedness. Right? And it's talking about, you know, all of the fixed signs are here, so it's transmuting something, right? It's like taking the knowledge, right, because it's a 3, taking the information, taking what you've learned from the experience here with this 10 of Cups, that is, you know, talking about the ending of something, but it's kind of like a celebratory ending, right? You know, there's going to be some sort of like celebration, or just like the completion of something, you know, and well deserved too. I feel like you have maybe matured in some aspect of yourself, right, and your feelings have matured, right, but they've changed, but they've matured, you know, and I feel like, you know, you have to honor that, right? And what you're being challenged with is the Hanged Man. So that's Pisces as well. It's kind of like surrendering yourself to some greater good, right? You're letting go of a need to kind of like have the answers right now that you seek. It's almost kind of like letting those things fall into place, right? It's saying you have everything you need right now, so you're not really going to push for anything. You're not going to be too aggressive, right? It's talking about not being aggressive at all. I mean, you might be aggressive in terms of getting what you want, because this is a 10 here, and it's talking about Mars, and Mars knows what he wants, and he wants to get what he wants. But then this is Neptune saying like, I'll see what I can get, you know, later on, or when something else is over. I feel like there's a little bit of time that's involved here, definitely because the World card is here, and the 10 is here, you know, and then the 3, the 12, right? The 12th house is Pisces, right? The Hanged Man is number 12. That's been a theme now this week. Just waiting for the right time in something, or waiting for the environment or it to feel safe enough to act, or just waiting for the right information. You got 2 3s, right? Which is related to the 3rd house of Gemini. So it could be related to like a Gemini, a Pisces, or even a Virgo, but definitely Gemini stuff, you know, making connections and, you know, networking and things like that. And processing documents and things like that. There even might be something to do with money, you know what I mean? Large amounts of money, with the World card being here. And the Hanged Man is also talking about, you know, just trying to get some sort of spiritual enlightenment, and you're trying to see there's perspective here that you're gaining, right? Out of not doing anything, and by not doing something, you're actually doing something, right? You're kind of like being very vigilant. This card speaks of vigilance, and then it also speaks of, just kind of like um, not being pushy at all. Okay. All right. In your sun position, you got the Three of Swords. So this is talking about completion of something too. It's the completion of an idea in your head, right? Something is sort of set, because the sun is a fixed, symbol. It's a fixed planet. So it's talking about something being set in your mind, right? The way that you feel about something too, because this 3 is related to the Empress, and then it's also, yeah, it's related to the Empress, and it's related to the World, and it's related to the Hangman. You got all of these cards that reduced down to a 3, right? So they're all related to like the mother, or maybe how you might be nurturing something. There's something in creation right now, something that is like you're like pregnant with something, like something is being formed, right? And the 10 is talking about something coming into full form. It may not be the way that you anticipated, or the way that you idealized it coming together, or the way that you wanted it to actually be, per se, but it is coming together. There is some heartbreak or some heart loss, or there might be some idea of, psychological pain or strife, right? Dealing with maybe like a father figure, right? Because it's in the sun position, or it could be dealing with something that, you were nurturing that you no longer want to put the time, energy, or effort into, because this is Saturn in Libra, and it's talking about a relationship or how you relate to an environment that you might be in, right? That's causing you to feel like, you've given enough time to it. It may not be serving you as well as it did at one point. You see what I mean? And that could be what you're sort of like waiting for, because all of these 3s are related to each other. You know that something has ended, right? But it's not time to move yet on whatever that is that you have sort of like solidified for yourself that has changed, right? Because the 3s are definitely talking about changes occurring, right? And being comfortable with those changes. Also, it kind of like it's talking about a need for a change, right? Because the 3s are multiplicity, and then the 10s are definitely cards of change, because they reduce down to a 1. In your emotions, you have the Temperance card, which is, that's number 14, and that's a 5, which is talking about, belief system, status quo, doing things the way that you've always done them because they've been comfortable. Now it's time to talk about doing things in a different way. You know what I mean? Trying to do something. You're at a point where you're noticing that things will have to change in order for you to feel like you're getting somewhere. And I think that there's some kind of like spiritual alchemy that you're doing right now. You're just trying to see how you feel about the situation. What have you gathered? What is the information? What have you pulled from it? What is your spirit telling you? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, how do you even want to commit yourself? It's like recommitting yourself to something, or changing up, your commitments. You know what I mean? You might even be reducing down the commitments, because, Temperance does speak of making something stronger, right? Being able to withstand whatever it is that is testing you, So emotionally, you've had to, withstand a lot probably. And there's other things too, because Libra does have to do with laws and justice, and so does the world. The world has to do with government and, officials and executives, like stuff like that. And the Hangman has to do with things that you necessarily can't control, right? That are sort of like out of your control, that you might be sensitive to, right? So then you kind of like just sit back and wait for things to sort of like pace themselves out. Okay, so you got the 5 of Pentacles in the past. So this is talking about feeling left out in the cold, right? In terms of this Temperance card, right? There's something that you just didn't feel good about anymore that had manifested. Maybe that you were, there was birds there moving, that you were sort of like committed to, right? And that thing has sort of changed. So like your thought process is different. It's almost like you need something and you feel like you're not getting it, right? Because the 5 is related to the Hierophant, which is Taurus, and Taurus needs to be catered to. And there's some aspect of your reality that's not being catered to, and your mind is very aware of it. And then the Page of Pentacles talks about changes happening financially, or just even in work, right? The pages are ruled by Saturn, which is the World card. So it's talking about you learning a lesson, right? And now you value that lesson that you have learned, and now you're going to set yourself free of something, because you got the Judgment card here, which is talking about letting go of control issues, right? And changing your life and letting things happen, as they will. This is also a Destiny card, so it was in your destiny for this thing to complete and for it to just sort of like go to a different place for you.